Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got a video today from Alexander Grace.
Women want loyalty. But loyalty to what? To values, to principles? No. Women want loyalty to their emotions.
Oh.
For a woman, the past isn't real. It has no objective existence in reality. All historical events, decisions, and people are constantly being rewritten to fit into the feeling that she has today. By the end of this video, you're going to understand why women cannot admit that they've made a bad choice, because to them, that is actually emotionally impossible.
I had a talk the other day with my now ex-fiance, and he was telling me that he wishes me the best and that I end up being so happy and that I find the person that will make me the happiest and all that stuff. And I looked at him and I said, well, the feeling is not reciprocated. And he was like, what? And I was like, no, I genuinely don't hope you're happy. I hope you don't find somebody. And if you do find somebody, I hope that in 5, 10, 15 years down the road that you guys are together, that she looks at you one day and tells you that she doesn't love you anymore and that she breaks your heart like you broke mine.
I'm sure you've noticed that when a woman chooses a man to date, all of her friends and family are obliged to like him and to support her choice, even if they have reservations about his intentions or his character. It doesn't matter if the guy seems like an out-and-out scumbag. If you express any concerns or any doubt about her choice in partner, she's going to be furious. How dare you? This man is the love of my life.
I mean, we see this trope often with, daughters and their fathers. I still love him.
He is my everything. He is my soulmate. I can't believe you don't support me. And so you go along with it. If she's happy, then you're happy. You trust her decision and you force yourself to see him as a good guy. You make yourself believe that they're going to be happy and that their relationship is healthy, because that's what loyalty to a woman looks like. But now, guess what? The two of them have broken up. And now she hates the guy and says that he was always awful to her, that he was abusive. And so what are you meant to do? Are you meant to be loyal to her past statements, her past judgment? Are you meant to stick up for the image of the guy that she forced you to adopt? Or are you expected to drop all of that instantly the moment that she changes her mind about him? She feels differently now.
This is so true on so many levels.
And so you have to follow suit. Of course, tomorrow she might tell you that the whole thing was a big misunderstanding and they're more in love.
It's just like how she tells you about how Jenny, screwed her over at work, and you're like, screw Jenny. And then all of a sudden, Jenny's the best person in the world. Like, oh, we love Jenny.
Than ever. And they're now back together, followed by another breakup the day after. You want to be loyal. You want to be supportive. But a lot of men don't know how to navigate this minefield, because to the male mind, it just seems like women are all over the place.
If you had a message for your ex, what would it be?
Joseph, massively dislike you. Also would suck your cock. Love you. Bye.
Mixed emotions.
I still love you.
Yeah, that's pretty
So it's pretty obvious that these men broke up with these women.
standard. It's so interesting because other women don't seem to have an issue supporting their friends through these kinds of fluctuations, because their behavior still seems logical to them. They can track what's going on. They don't register the same objections of inconsistency that a man might, because to the female mind, emotions are supreme.
This is why you can't explain things to women. They can't register the same thing we are registering in our heads.
And truth follows emotions. Women can say the most contradictory things about their ex-boyfriends. A lot of their female friends will just nod along, like, yep, totally makes sense. It's all completely valid. At one point, he was the love of her life, but now the story is that he was always a complete jerk. It makes sense when you realize that for a woman, her narrative about the relationship changes based on how she feels about it now. She does not see history as some fixed sequence of events with
This is exactly why they don't think past matters.
its own objective existence. No, it's the complete opposite. Women will rewrite history in order to fit within the emotional narrative of the moment. For women, emotional coherence is more important than factual consistency. You as a man, you might not have any difficulty saying, my girlfriend was great at the start of the relationship. She was really loving. I was really happy, but as time went on, things changed. I was less satisfied. And in the end, I actually felt completely betrayed by her. Seems normal, right?
Right.
Like, there's a logical progression there. Things were good. Then they became...
That's why when women break up with men, it's always their fault and they were the evil ones and nothing ever happened that they did.
Became bad. But for many women, if she ends up betrayed, it is very difficult for her to admit that there was a time in the relationship when she was happy and that things were working well. For her, that creates emotional dissonance, and so she edits the story. You can see this difference between men and women in how each gender chooses to talk about their ex.
If you could say one thing to your ex, what would it be?
Fuck you, I know you were talking to her while we were still together. Fuck you.
I hope you're doing all right, you know? I'm doing all right. I hope you're doing okay.
You're an immature piece of shit, and your mom is even worse than you are.
I hope you get shot in the Navy.
Damn.
Go fuck yourself.
I wouldn't be mean or disrespectful to her. I'll just be like, how you doing, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be no disrespectful, rude ass man, you know?
Fuck you.
Men. We're classy X.
Fuck you.
I'd say hello. I hope you are doing well, and I hope your family's doing well, and I'm happy for whatever's going your way.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
And your dick is so small.
I appreciate you. Thank you for everything.
Isn't it so true after they break up? Yeah, never any good thing about their relationship ever.
No, I mean, it sucks that it didn't work out, you know? We were at two different points in our life. I mean, that's just what it comes down to.
Suck a dick, bitch.
Women cannot admit that they made a bad choice. They cannot do it. I just watched a bunch of women viciously tear into their ex-boyfriends, and this experience is common. For years, everybody is expected to support a woman's choice in her partner, to trust her judgment. But the moment that she calls it quits and decides that she wants to break up or get a divorce, she now tells everybody that he was always a jerk, that he was abusive all along, and everybody is expected to go along with it. And even though, you know, they often don't have the courage to say this out loud, internally, a lot of men have difficulty with this because they're thinking, well, if you're saying that he was always a jerk, that means that your judgment was off then.
Correct.
So how can we trust
So
that
when you first picked him, it was
your
bad.
judgment is correct now? That's what a lot of men are thinking, but they don't voice it because the energy and strength of her conviction now is just too terrifying to contend with. Women feel righteously entitled to say awful things about their ex-boyfriends,
They do.
many of which are not true. But in her mind, she doesn't even see it as lying. Like, from her perspective, what she's doing, she's just trying to emotionally stabilize. But men struggle with this. They struggle when you say things that are factually incorrect, because to the male mind, to a masculine value system, the truth is not so malleable. And the emotional loyalty that she is demanding feels like a trap, because to believe her now means that you have to reject everything that she said before. Men naturally seek logical consistency, and so they are tempted to ask questions that would be considered insensitive, like, if he was always such a jerk, why didn't you see it before? Or why didn't you say anything? If the signs were there and he was always so terrible, then why were you attracted to that kind of a man? In his mind, these seem like innocent enough questions. Like, he's just confused and he's trying to seek clarity. But to a woman, asking those kinds of questions,
Misogyny
is disloyalty. Every question that he asks feels to her like an accusation. He doesn't understand why she's getting so defensive, because he's just trying to understand. But that's what he doesn't get, is that women don't want to be understood.
No,
what she
they
wants
don't.
is for you to pledge loyalty to her emotions and to shift allegiances. When she changes,
blind
you
allegiance.
change.
I actually cannot
Blind
look at my
allegiance.
ex's Instagram right now. And why are you following so many college girls when you don't even go to college? You are literally a degenerate. Why?
How many times have you heard a woman describe her ex-boyfriend as a degenerate, a scumbag, a jerk? How many times have you heard a woman say,
That jerk one is probably the number one right there.
he tricked me, he manipulated me?
I hear
a bunch,
that often
right?
too.
And now, how many times have you heard a woman say, I chose wrong. I made a bad decision. I have bad judgment.
Yet to still hear
As
this.
a man, I can tell you that there have been numerous times in my personal life where I have caught up one-on-one with a male friend to talk about some of my concerns about their relationship. It's usually after spending some time with them as a couple, and I've noticed some things, some ways that she's treating him, and I bring it to his attention. I do it respectfully because this is his girlfriend after all. I want to tread carefully. But you know what? I have had nothing but positive responses from my male friends when this happens. Every single time, without exception, it is gratitude. Thank you, Alexander. You are a true friend. I know it's difficult to be honest about this stuff, but I really appreciate you bringing these concerns to me. I'm going to think about it. And what always seems to follow is them confessing a bunch of stuff about their relationship, things that are going on behind closed doors that I haven't seen, that I didn't know about. And then we end up having a really good conversation. Talking with men like this, I always find so easy. They are grateful to have that kind of a conversation.
It's true, because we don't get to talk about it often. Sometimes we want to, but we don't know who to talk it with.
Recognize the spirit with which I'm bringing my concerns. They don't feel judged or get defensive. Contrast that with women. It can be so difficult to bring up legitimate concerns about her relationship because she is so likely to feel personally attacked and judged.
Like, I had a perfect, great boyfriend for 50% of the time. He would scream and call me names when we were alone, which I could handle, but I always knew deep down, like, oh my God, what if he does this in front of my friends one day? You can't really spot out like an evil man. When I was getting my hair done and the lady was looking over my shoulder reading our texts, and she was like, are you okay? Like, these messages are not normal, and I want you to know that as a stranger. And I was like, oh no, you're insane. Like, no, I just didn't send him enough emojis when I said good morning this morning, you know? So it's kind of my fault.
She knows that there's a problem. She knows that her relationship is toxic. And when a stranger, someone she doesn't even know, her hairdresser, says, hey, these messages, this relationship dynamic, this is not normal, her response to that is denial. And to say, no, you, the hairdresser, you're insane. Why are women like this? The short answer is that women invest their personal identity into relationships in a way that men just don't. Let me explain. You guys who have been subscribed to my channel for a number of years, you've probably seen that iconic video that I made that men are islands and women are boats. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link down below. But the short version is that men are inherently independent. They live on their own islands and they spend their time designing and creating their island to be the way that they want. But women are not islands. Women are boats, and they sail around all the islands trying to find a good one to live on. Now, if you understand that fundamental difference between men and women, you will see why when I bring concerns about their relationship to my male friends, they are not offended, because whatever I'm talking about, it's not existential for him. It's not really related to his identity. It's more like a buddy visiting his island and noticing that the woman who's living on it is kind of ungrateful or has a bad attitude. And so he says something. It's like, hey man, I've noticed that she doesn't really help out much around your island. Like, you sure you want her living here? Is she actually making your island better? Most guys are like, oh, I don't know. I've just kind of gotten so used to her being here.
He's so right. That's men. We get so used to being used and abused, we don't take anything of it other than when someone else sees it and finally says something to us. And then we're like, you're right. I am getting mistreated. But like, as men, because we love women and so infatuated with them, we don't see it that way.
Yeah, quite a good question. Let me think about that. Thank you for bringing it up. But it is a completely different dynamic if you approach a woman and you say to her, hey, are you sure about this island that you've chosen to live on? Because by questioning her choice of island, you are questioning her capacity for good judgment. You're expressing doubt over the life that she's chosen to live. That's why you get a response like, I can't believe you would even ask me that. Like, this island is my life. This is my world. I have dedicated my life to this island. This is my foundation. This is my safety. Unlike the man, she feels like her identity is at stake. So it makes sense why she's so much more defensive. Women pride themselves on being intuitive, being emotionally aware, being good
They really do love saying women's intuition.
at reading people. So she can't admit that she made a bad choice because to do so would be to admit that she has bad judgment. And that's like a confession of the failure of her own femininity. She can't do that. It's a lot more comfortable to just paint him as this awful person who was just hiding how awful he was, that he tricked her, that she was manipulated. That's a much more comfortable story for her than just admitting the truth, which is that she made a mistake. I really wish that women could take more accountability because the inconsistency that men witness from women is real. And while her emotional volatility does explain it, it does not excuse it. And frankly, it's one of the reasons why a lot of men start to lose respect for the women in their lives. They stop taking her so seriously.
This is the problem I have, right? Obviously, my aunts and my cousins, it doesn't apply to them, but every other woman in my life, it kind of ends up being like this, where the respect factor for these women do end up going down as I get to know them and see their fuckery.
Seriously, because she makes these terrible choices, but then completely denies any personal responsibility in those decisions. And it begs the question, why is this story so common? Why do women consistently choose to date bad men? We've spoken about how they have trouble admitting that they've made mistakes, but why do they make these mistakes in the first place?
I think it's because it's lust. Society's told women, oh, this is the most important thing that you should be going after, money and status. But that's not what builds great families. That's not what builds stable families. It's not what is a good father. It's not what a good man is. Just because he's good looking and has a lot of money or slings good dick, right? They never seem to pick the character over what the character can provide or that person can provide. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Really appreciate that. Catch you guys next time. Ciao.